Hi, I'm Mark Fennell. I'm from Soap Creative, our digital agency here in Sydney, and I'm here to talk about an exciting project that we just completed. Rewinding the clock a couple of months, Microsoft, the big boys at Microsoft came to us and said, we want you to create something awesome for the launch of IE9. Now, we also want to be showing this as part of the keynote speech at our biggest Microsoft conference of the year, and that's in 4 weeks' time. So we kind of nutted a few ideas around, and then one came to us. So who here has played and loved Pac-Man as a kid? And we thought, let's create the biggest. So we had this idea, let's create the biggest Pac-Man in the world, where everybody could create their own level. You'd play one level, you'd go across to another one, and we'd combine it all together into this wonderful big mosaic. We had to... I broke rule number 6, I know. But just read them quickly, and I'll gloss over this slide. And that'll move us on to the next slide. I think that slide was so much more exciting. I've got a few bullet points in there. I'm really sorry. So we built a really nice editor anyway. I've lost my train of thought on that one. I need to get a cue. Okay, so this is the homepage, no bullet points. This is how you'd navigate around our site. You can see all these cool little mini maps that people have created, and you'd sort of scoot around, and anyone here can go on and create your own little piece of Pac-Man history. So it was a pretty cool little project, and I think one of the hardest things we had to do to translate from the original game was the ghost behaviour. We had to really get inside the ghost mentality and then translate that so that would work with any sort of user-created levels. And I mean, you can still create a level where you can box them in, which is kind of cruel to the ghosts. One of the big concerns we had about this project, of course, is moderation, and in particular teenage boys, because they're foul-minded, foul-mouthed little creatures. And so we kind of had to work out, well, how are we going to censor these little delinquents? And the secret was pretty simple, let's use Facebook. And by putting someone's picture and their name next to a level, we found that, the content was all G-rated and all really quite happy. So that was a great result for all. This is a pretty boring screen, but it shows the stats. In the first 3 weeks after we launched this, 1.6 million visitors. 5 minutes average time on the site, so that's about, 15 years of Pac-Man playing right there. Just a few stats from actually in the game. 1.7 billion Pac dots eaten, so that's almost as much as Facebook's annual turnover last year. 65,000 mazes created, and 15 million have been played. Now, this slide here is a time lapse of the first 40,000 mazes being created. Each pixel represents a maze, so it's a pretty crazy piece of growth there. I think I timed that to 15 seconds, so I'm just going to... It slowed down towards the end. A few more for the stats junkies. We do track everything. 8 million Pac-Men have lost their lives. And 21 million ghosts. So I'd like to just propose a moment's silence for Inky, Pinky, Blinky and Clyde, who have gone to that great ghost pen in the sky. So the last few slides, I wish I had more, was to show some of the creative highlights from the site. What we found as we cruise around the site is just an amazing amount of creative people just building just almost unique artwork. So there's the Pac-Man loving types who build these cool little Pac-Man sort of styled fan art. Then there's the personals. Definitely a unique one. There's a lot of retro art, and I think the next slide shows a bit of that. So you recognise the on the right, I'm sure. And then what we started finding is some people would start to combine levels next to levels next to levels, and the next one is going to kick off just a little bit slowly because PowerPoint isn't necessarily the fastest creature in the world. But this is actually the entire first level of Mario Brothers created out of Pac-Man levels. All right? So, I mean, that's pretty incredible. And the last one, well, I mean, when you see this one, this is the biggest and the best that we've seen so far. This is the entire map of Europe. Bam, look at that. So we've collected all the highlights of this that we've found so far on a Tumblr. I did forget to put that URL on there, but it should be, coming up the top. But please go online to worldsbiggestpacman.com, create your own level, and become a part of Pac-Man history. Thank you.